Welcome to Bariatric Business Accelerator, the podcast created for busy weight loss practitioners and their teams who want to systematize, simplify, and accelerate the growth of their new or established weight loss practice. I'm your host, Carol Clark. I'm also CEO of Weight Loss Practice Builder. You can check that out at weightlosspracticebuilder.com. But today I want to talk about something that's really important. Sometimes you may find that you have a vision for your weight loss practice. You have this vision of something you want to create, but no step-by-step plan on how to make it happen. And that is something that's really important for a number of reasons. When you have a step-by-step plan, it doesn't mean that we're rigid and you have to follow that plan, but it gives guidance for your whole team. It gives you like a time frame so that you can know what's reasonable in terms of implementation. I use this system with every new practice that I've ever opened or run. Anytime I add a new revenue stream, anytime we have an issue going on with something and we want to change an entire system, we will utilize this system I'm going to share with you today. This is how you create your step-by-step plan. And I do these for practitioners across the US. I get a little bit very detail oriented, but it gives us a guide for what we're doing each and every week as we work together. Now, some people are just in my membership, Bariatric Business Accelerator, which is great. We actually meet once a month. I do trainings every month. We have tons of resources for you to deploy for your patients and recipes and social media graphics and social media calendars, so you always know what you need to be doing next in terms of marketing. We have all that, but there's sometimes people will raise their hand and they'll say, you know what, I really want a step-by-step plan. And you can do this in your practice yourself. My big thing is not to develop dependency, but to help people accomplish whatever it is that they want to accomplish. So if you have something you've been wanting to establish or a vision that you want to bring to fruition, let's go ahead and walk through the process so that you can do it in your own practice as well. Having a vision and having difficulty because you don't have a set plan is more common than you may think. It's very common, particularly, because we're in a hurry to get things done. And so we just say, this is what I want. And then we just ask somebody to make it happen. But there's no real set plan to ensure that you're going to have success or to measure your progress or to measure the outcome at the end of it. So my big winning blueprint method, these are blueprints that I'll create for people, and it may be tweaked a little bit, but essentially the model that I follow, that I created, is first I meet with them only because I'm from the outside. Now, you wouldn't have to do this, but I'll send a questionnaire. I'll talk a little bit, I'll ask a lot of different questions about where they are now, where they want to be, what it would look like 3 months from now or 6 months from now. And then that gives me a really clear understanding of what they will need in terms of their plan. And so then I take a look at where they're operating, where their region is, and I look at the competition, I look at the marketing, I take a look at all their social media, I do all of that, and then I kind of create an executive summary stating, here's where you are, here's where you want to be. These are the key important things that need to be considered. So I just make sure that it's all clear out there right at the very beginning, that I'm not misunderstanding what their goal is or something like that. But for you, you just have an executive summary like, here's what our goals are, here's where we are now. And then I'll actually expand upon that. Part 2 is your current status. So that's your strengths and potential pitfalls. So here's where we get into what's going really right in your practice, what's looking great, what's really functioning well, and what are the potential pitfalls as we move forward. So the pitfalls can be something related to saboteurs on your team, internally or externally. It could be, a pitfall related to all different aspects depending on what the blueprint is about. So we want to identify where might you have trouble. You can call this a sort of a SWOT analysis, but I just really get right to the strengths and then the potential pitfalls. And then I come up with prioritized recommendations. Sometimes it's a project that needs to happen really quick, or let's say somebody's starting their practice from the ground up, but they haven't done certain things like getting their tax ID number or get lots of different business things to get your business set up. Since I've done a number of them, we'll address those right away. Or what is there something that needs to get done? So I'll prioritize all the recommendations that I have. And then I talk a little bit about the essential systems to make it happen. So let's say you were going to add nutritional retail sales, for example. So with that, what are your strengths? What are the potential pitfalls. There's lots of them related to getting that implemented and making it successful. What are the prioritized recommendations in terms of what you have to get into place right away? What systems are going to have to be in place for retail sales? Of course, it's your team. It's a method for people to purchase. There's a method for you trialing products, determining which ones you're going to carry, and taste testing everything. How are you going to sell it? So there's all these different systems that have to get into place. But once you put those into place, it's beautiful because then you're just tweaking. So we do these essential systems, and then it's an action plan. And I prioritize it by chronological date. So by this date, we're going to have this done. By this date, we're going to have this done. By this date, and it has what the date is, who's what the action is, who's responsible for it, and when it gets completed. Now, does this get followed chronologically exactly as it is? Nope. But I've done it long enough that I can kind of guess how long things are going to take. You can do the same thing in your practice, but you just decide, I want this implemented within 3 months. Here's what needs to get done. These are the systems that need to get set up. Here's the action plan for each step along the way. And it sounds really perhaps overwhelming, but once you have that and you do that research, you get that prepared, and then you share your vision with your team and you have action plans so that they know what to expect every step of the way, it's a beautiful thing. And as you go along, if you decide to tweak something or change a date, or maybe something came up, one of those pitfalls that you weren't anticipating, you can just modify your plan, but it gives you a guideline so that you know at the end of this period of time, this is where you're going to be. And you track it every single week with your team. And I've done this so many times, and in our own practice here, with other practices, it's something that really brings it together. And then you're just really, like I say, tweaking things. So you have that implementation timeline, and then I always do a little summary at the end. So really for me, it's an executive summary at the beginning, just very clarifying exactly what your goals are and your time frame. A little bit about your current status. What are your strengths and potential pitfalls that you want to watch out for along the way? What are the prioritized recommendations? What are the systems that need to be in place? What's the action plan that relates to everything that needs to get done? And putting that in a timeline with the action, who's responsible, when it's due, and then doing a little summary at the end. So for me, it is a process that has proven to be winning along the way. I don't think I've ever had one that did not, wasn't implemented, well. We get to the end of it, we're on schedule, kind of like you're building a house, it's really great when you're on schedule and perhaps you're under budget and you're ready to do that big move in or big whatever it is that you've just accomplished with your team. So this is a winning blueprint. I've never really shared the steps that I go through, but that's what I do with practices. So it could be adding, cash pay surgery, starting a practice from the ground up, implementing a content marketing plan. It could be adding nutritional retail sales. It could be just whatever it is that you want to do in your practice. I love it. And this process works, and I hope you implement it in your practices as well. And if you ever want any help or just to chat about what's going on in your practice, get a little bit of an opportunity audit where we can talk about opportunities that are there in your practice, reach out to me, Carol, Karol, at weightlosspracticebuilder.com. I look forward to getting to know you better, and I appreciate you listening to this podcast. And there's lots of other free resources on our website. Just go to weightlosspracticebuilder.com/free. You'll find them there. And if you're not a member of Bariatric Business Accelerator and you're not really ready to do something bigger with me and you want to just do membership, it's a great way to dip your toe in the water and really get a lot of very valuable resources, trainings, and things that you can implement right away, whether it's different stake interview question. I mean, I have so many resources in there. It can sometimes even be overwhelming, but it's all divided by the 6 systems that you need to have in your practice. And I've got resources, trainings for each one, in addition to things that are added weekly, and social media calendars, graphics that you and your team can customize and use for your social media. There's so much in there. And I can't wait for you to access it. So, and we get to meet every single week for live trainings, and we also meet monthly us together so that we can talk about what's top of mind for you. So at any rate, it's sort of a no-brainer way to get to know each other better. And you can go to bariatricbusinessaccelerator.com to learn about that as well. So I hope you're having a great day. Take care.